Good morning, my students. How are you all feeling today? It's been 4 months since quarantine begins. I just hope that you are all healthy, okay? Don't forget to wash your hand and don't forget to wear mask when you go out. Okay, so today we are going to study subject-verb agreement. It is an important subject for you because in TOEFL test later, you might get confused whether you want to use like is or am or are in the test. Okay, so before we start the lesson, please prepare some pieces of papers because you're going to do some exercises with me later. Okay, are you ready? Let's start. Okay, you can see in the screen what are we going to study today. I don't need to read that for you, okay? Now, don't worry, don't be confused, okay? We are going to discuss one by one, okay? But stop, we are not going to enter this lesson directly because of what? Before we enter the lesson, let's try to do some exercises for 2 minutes. Yeah, you have 10 questions here. You can do your exercise for 2 minutes. Okay, it has been 2 minutes. All the answers will be discussed in the end of the lesson, so don't worry. Now, are you ready for the new lesson? Let's go. The first one is final S or ES. How is the use and how is the spelling? Let's get to the list. Now, what is the use of S or ES for noun? Let's take a look here. Friends are important. Now, I want to ask you something. What is friends here? Is it singular or plural? Yes, they are plural. So the use of S or ES for noun is to make a plural form of singular noun. Okay, now for the verb, what is the use of S or ES? S or ES is added to singular noun or the third person singular. Third person singular here is he, she, or it. So let's take a look here. Mary works at the bank. Why is the work added as? Because the noun before the verb is singular and it is third person singular. Okay, so what is the spelling? How is the spelling for the one that ends with s or es? Okay, the example here, sing and song. Okay, so mostly noun is added when to make a plural noun, plural form, they are added only as. How about es? Now for the es, there are some noun ends in sh, ch, ss, z, and x. So they need to be added es, not as. And for the y, the word that ends in y, let's take a look here. Toy and boy. Why is it only plus s? Because before the letter y, there are vocals. You know what vocals is? A, E, I, O, and U. That's correct. So if before the letter y, that's vocal, you have to only plus s. But how about baby and cry? Now before the letter y, what is it? That is consonant. So if it is consonant, you have to change the y, become I plus es. Okay, only that. It's simple, right? Now let's do some exercise to make you understand more about final S or ES. Now, Sally runs or runs to the park every day. Is there anyone can answer? That's good. The answer is runs, but which one runs? Is it run plus S or run plus ES? The answer is run plus ES. Why? Because run doesn't end with the SHCH or something, and it's normally added as. That's correct. The second one is the dogs bark, barks, or barks at strangers. The answer is bark. Why? Because the dogs are plural. That's correct. The next one is Tad and Mary. Is or are? The answer is are. That's correct because they are also plural. The next one is she studies or studies every night. It's easy. The answer is studies. Why? Why is it studies? Because she is third person singular, and before the letter Y in study, that is the letter D, which is consonant. So you have to change the Y become I and plus E as. Okay, the last question. The cat and dog plays in the yard. The answer is plays. It should be play. Yep, you are tricked. Boy, is it play? Why not plays? Because cat and dog are plural. That's correct. Good job. Okay, now we enter the basic subject-verb agreement. Okay, so Sir hopes that from this lesson you can write notes in your paper. Okay, let's start at number 1. My friend lives in Boston. And the plural verb, my friends live in Boston. Okay, so for number 1, if the subject is singular and if it is the third person singular, you have the verb, you have to plus s or es. But if the subject is plural in a plural form, you may not put s or es in the verb. Okay, for number 2, my brother and sister live in Boston. My brother, sister, and cousin live in Boston. Okay, so for number 2, two or more subjects connected by an require a plural verb. What is plural verb? The verb without added s or es. Okay, for number 3, every man, woman, and child needs love. Each book and magazines is listed in the bibliography. Okay, so for every that is connected with an, they are considered as singular, so you have to put s or es in the verbs. Also with each, if it's connected with an, they are singular. Okay, so for number 4, that book on political parties is interesting. The ideas in that book are interesting. Okay, so they have an underlying sentence. They are called interrupting sentence. Why? Because it interrupts your mind system thinking if it is singular or plural. But let's take a look at the sentence. The book on political parties is interesting. So it talks about the book, not on political parties. So don't get confused. Don't take a look on political parties. You may mistaken it as plural, but it's actually singular. It also applies for the ideas in that book are interesting. Okay, so it talks about the ideas, not about the book. And in that book is interrupting structures, interrupting sentence. Okay, so for number 5, watching all movies is fun. Now, what is it? What is watching? Watching here is a gerund. That's correct. What is gerund? Gerund is noun that formed by verb plus ing. So here, watching is not the verb anymore, but it is noun. Now, gerund is considered as singular. Okay, have you finished writing your notes? Okay, let's do the exercise 2. The subjects you will be studying in this course is or are listed in the syllabus. Now, this just now, what is the answer? The answer is are. Why is are? Because it talks about the subjects, not about the course. You decided in this course is interrupting sentence. Okay, so for number 2, orange, tomatoes, and cabbage is or rich in vitamin C. The answer is are, because two or more subjects connected in are plural. Okay, so for number 3, each girl and boy in the 6th grade class has or have to do a science project. The answer is has, because each. The 4th one, getting to know all people from a group is or are really hard for an introvert. Because it is genuine, the answer is that's correct. For number 5, why was or were Yoko and Alex late for the meeting? Yoko and Alex, are they singular or plural? Okay, that's correct. They're plural, so the answer is were. Okay, so now we enter how to use expression of quantity in subject-verb agreement. Okay, so I have to make a note here. In most expression of quantity, the verb is determined by the noun or pronoun that follows off. Okay, so let's take example. Some of the book is good and some of the books are good. So the verb is here. Why does it use is? Because some of the book is singular, so you have to put singular verb, and it applies for the plural verb also. Some of the books are plural, so you have to put plural forms. In case here is are. Okay, that's for number 1. For number 2, one of my friends is here. Okay, so one of, each of, every one of takes singular verbs. Okay, it's usually added in plural nouns. Here is my friends, they are plural, but it is singular. Why? Because it talks about one of my friends. Only one of my friends, each of my friends, each of the students, each of the teachers, they are considered as singular. Okay, so that's for number 2. Let's number 3. None of the boys is here. None of is usually considered as singular, but in some informal writing, they can also be considered as plural. But if you want to write an important assignment or official one, none of the boys, none of is considered as singular. Okay, so for number 4, the number of students in the class is 15. A number of students were late for class. So for the singular verb, the number of students, the number here is singular. Why? It is the subject. The subject is the number of, the number. But for the plural one, a number of students, the difference is the number of students, the number here is the subject, but a number of students is quantity. So a number here can mean a lot of. Okay, so a number of students were late. That's why they put plural verbs. Okay, so to make you understand, let's do exercise number 3. Most of the movie is or are funny. Okay, so most of, what is after of? The movie. The movie is singular or plural? It is singular, so we have to put is. Okay, for number 2, half of the students in the class is or are from Japan. Now it's also the same. Half of the students, is the students plural or singular? It is plural, so the answer is are. That's correct. Number 3, each of the teachers in the school has or have their own identity card. Each of is considered as singular, so it has to be has. Okay, so number 4, a number of students is or are absent today. A number here is a lot of students are absent today. For number 5, None of the animals at the zoo, none of is considered as singular, so you have to put is. It's free to roam. All of them are in enclosures. Okay, now we learn about using there plus be. This one is really easy because it only depends on the noun. Okay, if the noun is singular, you have to use singular verb, and if the noun is in plural form, you have to use plural verb. Example, there is a fly in the room. The fly is only one fly, so you have to put there is. And there are 3 windows in the room, in this room. So 3 windows. 3 windows is plural, so you have to use are. It's easy, right? Now let's do the exercises. There isn't or aren't any mail for you today. There is no mail. There is any mail. The answer is isn't. Okay, the second one. There is or are a lot of problems in the world. A lot of problems is plural. Okay, the answer is are. The third one. How many kinds of birds is or are there in the world? How many kinds of birds? Okay, it means kinds is plural. The answer is are. The fourth one. There is or are more women than men in my office. Okay, more women. The answer is are. That's correct. Number 5. How many wars do you suppose there? How many wars do you suppose there has been or have been in the history of the world? It focus on the wars. Do you suppose there is interrupting sentence as we have learned? So what is plural? The answer is have been. That's correct. Okay, we've come to the last part, which is some irregularities. Okay, for this one is singular verbs. Okay, the first one, the United States is big and something. Okay, so the United States is not plural. Why? Because it is the name of a country. Okay, so for the name of someone, the name of country, places, or something, or brands, they are considered as singular. So it has to use singular verb. Okay, number 2, the news is amazing. For the news is singular, so you have to use singular verb. The number 3, mathematics is easy for her, physics is easy for her too. Okay, so for the field of study that end in ICS, is considered as singular form, so it has to use singular verb like mathematics and physics. Okay, so for number 4, illness, certain illness that end in S is considered as singular. In here there are diabetes. There are also some other examples like measles, mumps, rabies, rickets, and singulars. They are singular, so you have to use singular verb. Okay, so for number 5, 8 hours of sleep is $10 is 5,000 miles is. So for the expression of time, amount of money, and distance, there is considered a singular. So you have to use singular verb. For number 6, 2 and 2 is 4. 2 and 2 equals 4. 2 and 2 is or equals 4. 5 times 5 is 25. So for rhyming arithmetic expression requires singular verb. Rhyming arithmetic. Okay, so for number 7, English is spoken in many countries. Chinese is his native language. Okay, so some noun in nationality that end in SH, ESE, and CH mean either language or people, like English, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, and so on are considered as singular. Okay, so how about the plural? Now for the plural form, those people, for number 1, those people are from Canada. The police have been called. Cattle are domestic animals. Fish live underwater. Okay, so people, police, cattle, and fish, this does not plus s in the noun, but they are considered plural because people is the plural form of person. That's correct. Okay, so for number 2, the English drink tea. The Chinese have an interesting story. Okay, let's take a look back. For number 7, English is spoken in many countries. Okay, so here the English is the language, not the people. But for this one, the English drink tea. So the English here is the people, the English people, but they do not tell English people, they just tell in English, the English drink tea, so it's considered as plural. And the last one is there are some adjectives, there are a few adjectives that is preceded, that before it is we put that's considered as plural noun, like the poor, the rich, the living, the dead, the blind, and so on. They are considered as plural. Do you understand? Okay, now let's do the last exercise, exercise 5. The news about Mr. Gonzalez is or are surprising. The news is singular, so it is. Okay, the New York Times is or are an established and respected newspaper. Okay, New York Times is the name of the brand of newspaper. So if the name of a brand that is considered as singular, that's correct. So the answer is. Okay, number 3, statistics is or are branch of mathematics. Don't get confused. Statistics, that is part of study, field of study. So the answer is. The 4th one, the police is or are prepared in case there's a riot. Okay, the police is considered as plural, that's correct. Number 5, many Japanese commute to their places of work. Okay, Japanese here, are they language or people? Yes, they are people, so they're considered as plural. So the answer is commute without as. For number 6, the blind want or wants the rest of us to treat them the same way that we treat everyone else. Okay, the blind is considered as plural. Okay, so the answer is 1. Okay, so we have finished all the lessons today. Now what we are going to do is we have to answer the pre-exercise one that I said will be discussed in the end of the lesson. Okay, so the first one, lettuce is or are good for you. Lettuce is singular, so the answer is. Okay, the number 2, the tomatoes in the garden. Now, in the garden, that is interrupting sentence. It talks about the tomatoes, so tomatoes is plural, so we use are. Okay, number 3, every man and woman in the world. If the word is every, that is considered as singular, so the answer is deserves with s. Okay, so the answer is deserves. For number 4, storing the equipment in the garbage is or are included in their duty. Don't be confused. Storing the equipment, storing is there, so the answer is already. Don't need to think about that so far. Number 5, most of our ideas. Okay, so some of, most of, how of, remember, it depends on the noun after of. So most of our idea is singular, so the answer is. Okay, so for number 6, one of my packages. One of, so that's singular, the answer is has. The number 7, none of is considered as singular, that's correct, so the answer is. Number 8, there is or are a lot of problems in the world. It has been discussed in the previous one, so the answer is are. Or for number 9, social studies is or are his favorite subject. Social studies is part of what? Yes, it is part of field of study, so the answer is. Number 10, the last one, 6 hours of study is or are useless without a clear objective. Remember about time, money, and distance is considered as singular, so the answer is. Okay, how many are you correct? It's okay if you do not if you are not able to do most of them. I just hope that this lesson will be useful for all of you in the future. So that's all about the lesson today. Thank you. Goodbye, my students. Wait, don't forget to wash your hands when you want to do something, and don't forget to wear mask when you want to go out. Goodbye.